Guys, here we are. Look at my desk. Doesn't it look crazy? This is for us to figure out if I can help you match up with a good fit for your summer reading. Hello, my 5 blessings and Cassie. Let's talk books. Look at how I got ready for you. And my Sherry friend is totally crazy. Let's find out if I can help you match up with your Christian fiction author read for the summer. Hello. So this might not be up your alley. That's a Christian fiction readership list of people to find for summer reading. But yay, books, that's right. So help me get the word out to I'm hoping for our Mommy Scopes crew and our Cultivating the Lovely crew. Ah, my desk, my chair just fell down. How's that for a start? Let me put you in the thing here as I be crazy and fall out of my chair on the floor. And my Aunt Sherry friend is totally laughing at me, as she should. Well, let's see if we can do this here. Fixed chair, right? Okay. So silly. But let's talk books. I'm so excited to share with you guys. There was a thread inside the Cultivating the Lovely where one of the sweet people on there said, any of you have any good ideas for stories to read over the summer? And they're all cultivating their summer to-do bucket list, like the things that they want to do. So it's going to be kind of a lengthy scope, but I'm going to do this in a fun way. I'm so excited because this is my world. This is my world of books. So help me share it out. I'm really hoping to get some of that group in that's readers only, because I usually do scopes for writer folk, but yay. So hopefully they can come find me. So first of all, I want to make a disclaimer, but after I fell out of the chair, I want to make a happy disclaimer that says, yay, okay, cool, Cassie. You're the girl I'm going to be talking to then. I got my Sherry friend in here, but she already knows how much I love books, but I have so many, and I want to tell you how I'm going to do this. First of all, I have to make a disclaimer. I am not a maniacal book buyer. You can never read enough. I actually did a really, really smart thing years ago. I got my mother-in-law hooked. She buys them and then gives them to me. So, disclaimer, I am not spending my kids' future inheritance on fiction readership, although I would recommend it with these ones. These are good writers. So the other kind of general guideline I want to say before I get started here is that the books that I'm recommending are all in the Christian fiction genre. That is important to me. When I read a book, I like to relax and let my guard down and not have to filter so much. And for me, the Christian genre does that. Now, I read secular here and there, and I'm very choosy. And when I read those books, I don't let my guard down. So, but this is for those people who want to go on vacation and find a nice, safe read it's like a PG rating, moral content is smart and safe, and we will go in with it like that. So Christian fiction genre, yes, filtering takes energy. So exactly. So all of these have not only been read by my mother-in-law, who happens to be a pastor for nearly 40 years, and myself. There'll be a few that I haven't read, but they are all from that genre, and the genre being Christian fiction. So stories, stories, stories. Now, I could probably talk nonfiction with the best of you, because I love that too, and maybe I'll do a different scope about nonfiction, but this is for entertainment only. Pleasure, pleasure, pleasure. My last author interview that I did, if you look up my name I have a website and I do my author interviews, I collect them there. But she actually said, the author herself said that before she was a writer, Christian fiction reading made her want to be a better mom and a better wife and a better person. And I actually find that to be true for me. They're inspiring, as long, so we're going to talk about that stuff. So the way I'm going to do it, though, is I am actually going to introduce by genre, because just like we all have different preferences with the clothes we wear and the food we eat and how we decorate our houses and all of that, there is all kinds of flavors inside writing. You guys have known there's people you like, then people you don't like, and your best friend will like the opposite of you. I mean, it's just all over the place. So I'm going to try to introduce by genre, and then when I pick up the book, I will let you know what I can tell you about the flavor. Now, I'm not giving book reviews. If you want to go on book reviews, that's where you go to Goodreads or Amazon. But the cool part is that if I get you an author, let's say you find one author today that you really like, you can go on Google or Amazon or Goodreads and say authors like da 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 da, and you put in the new author that you like, and they will feed you more authors that are like them. That is the point of all of the author reviews that we've been asking for on the Writer's Encouragement Show. It makes it so the search engines will link authors together and make it easier for you, the consumer, to find your favorites. So I'm going to post it. It's going to be, I put the hashtag save, and that'll save. I'm actually going to make it permanent content on my website, so it will be there. But your biggest compliment you guys can give me today is actually screenshots. If I'm holding them up and you get an author name and I see you take a screenshot, then I know that I'm going to be singing the song. And I'd really like to see a few more people get in here, but I don't know that I can't share out my own. And I did let people know, and it's kind of a weird time of day. So, but that's what I want to do. So screenshot away. That will be as big as hearts for me. And so let's get started, because I've got quite a few to get through. So we're going to do mostly newish authors that have kind of been up and coming in the last 5 or 6 years. And then I will throw in, I have an oldies but goodies pile too. None of this is inclusive. There is so many more than that. But for the girl who posted inside to Cultivating the Lovely and said, what books can I read? I'm like, oh, sister, come on over here. Let's talk shop, because seriously, this is my world. And I'm a writer, and I'm trying to be published, and I'll tell you a little bit about that, but not to sell you my stuff because it's not even out yet. But I will say that the best part for me as a writer has been to be a reader first. So you guys are going to get my favorites and my world all the way down to my toes. This is my fun pocket. So, Christian fiction genre first. The bedrock of Christian fiction has always been your good old-fashioned romance, like historical romance. So I am going to do a separate section that's like the World War II history zone and stuff like that. A couple new authors there. But this is like your cowboys, country living, settlers, Oregon Trail books. Usually it's the mid 1800s kind of in the United States. That's usually what they are. So here we go. Are you ready? The flavor of this. And then we're going to tell you about the flavors. So here is our stack from this genre. Huge. This is the biggest one because this is the kind of writer I want to be. So this stack of books right here are, in the Lord's time, my potential contemporaries, right? These are the people I want to stand up with against. So yeah, so obviously I have more in this genre because it is my favorites. So if you happen to like my favorites, I have a list of personal picks that are my top that I barely let any new ones get on there. I have one to add that I'm going to tell you about. But this is like pretty darn current and pretty inclusive. So first we have Karen Whitmire. She's easygoing, fun, action-packed, but sweet and gentle. This is a sweet and gentle read. She has lots of books out. Most of these authors have multiple books out. Very, very, I would call her books clever. And then we have Mary Keneally. Mary Keneally is a romp. She's nothing but fun. All of her books start out with action-packed, rolling, tumbling awesomeness, but she is still in the very sweet, lighthearted romance department. So that's what these ones, most of these ones are sweet and lighthearted. They're not intense. They're not gut-wrenching. They're going to end with a happily ever after. They're going to leave you feeling good. And that smirk on that character's face pretty much sums up the flavor of all of Mary Keneally's books. Super fun reader. Lots of books to be had under her name. Then we have Lori Copeland. Lori Copeland is oldie but goodie, but she has a lot of new ones too. Same thing. These are lighthearted, fun reads. These are like, they're just feel good. These are not going to give you any heaviness at all. They are going to happily ever after in an olden days, a lot of times wagons and the telegraph, the trains, or before that, you'll have maybe some Indians in there, whatnot. Then I'm going to do these two together because this is crazy awesome. These are the books that out of all of mine, I would let my 16-year-old read. These are the first choices. So these are safe reads. Okay, notice the names on these. We have Kelly Eileen Hake and we have Kathy Marie Hake. How cool is that? Do you want to know why their last name is the same? Because they are mother-daughter writers. It's really, really cool. My first love is Kathy, and then Aileen came in second. They're both multiple published, and they're really sassy and fun. A lot of personality in these books, a lot of charm between the writers. So if that's your cup of tea, screenshot away, moving on. This is Charlene McLean, and if you'll notice, her books are the same, but look how much bigger that is. So her books all are about that size, so she always has a little bit longer read. This one has the car on the front, but most of hers are set where it's wagons and an old church and the small town community and whatnot. If you liked Lori Wick's one about the teacher, the Donovan series, the one about the teacher, she has an incredible book in one of her series that has to do with that. So great, great, easygoing. These are still all in the fun-hearted, charming books. Deanna Gist. Okay, now I got to say a disclaimer about Deanna Gist because she's in the total feel-good safe. All of these ones are in the feel-good safe. But what Deanna Gist will do is she has a little bit of edge. Sometimes she comes in and she shakes up the normal package. There's kind of an understanding with this genre. You don't do much romance. Well, I got some other ones. I got science fiction fantasy, I got mystery, I got thriller, I got horror, I got all of it inside this genre. So this is one genre, and then we'll bump into the other one. So hopefully I can meet your needs. So Deanna Gist is like, she's kind of like, every once in a while she has like a black sheep moment inside of her books. Now I don't mean that she's got an edge like she's going to pollute you. I mean, she takes on some of the preconceived Christendom stuff that's inside of the expectations that are inside the Christian genre for this genre, and she'll bump into them a little bit. So she's not going to pollute you, but she'll bump into those regular things a little bit. So there's that. And then we have Julie Lessman. Covers, same thing. See how these covers are all kind of cute here? She has a ton of them too, so she's a good find. Really consistent study. Really, the historical fiction in hers is pretty darn sharp. They all have it, and they all have it in different degrees. Some of them you're going to walk away feeling like you've really learned, and some of them it's just part of the environment and the setting, and it just kind of comes along. This is a newer author, Margaret Brownlee. Super fun. Obviously, this one was the invention of the photograph, the daguerreotype or whatever. I'm not saying that old-fashioned word right. But she's obviously got a girl who's going to be the photographer, which is going to be a little cutting edge for back then because, you know, those girls had to bust into being the workers and not just being the mamas at home. And then we have Kathleen Yarborough. There she is, Kathleen Yarborough, super fun. Obviously, all these are the same. My goal is to be able to give you a chance to write it down and take a picture of it. Oh, Karen Whitmire was the first one I put up. And this one's new. She's a Bethany House writer. She's new. She's got 3 books out. I like her. Met her personally. She's going to come on the show and interview in the summer sometime. She hasn't set a date finally with me. But hers are both witty and charming, but they actually have a little bit more elaborate plot line, which is kind of fun. So enjoying all of them. And on to the next genre. So those are done. See, I'm booking through. So basically, I want you to be able to see what's out there, and then you can kind of pick by your preference. Isn't that cool? So these are World War I and World War II writers. So if you liked Bodhi Thione or Bodhi Tione, however you said his last name, you would love these. Now, Christy Cameron has more than one book out. This is her second book, and she has a third one now coming out soon that's called The Ringmaster's Wife, which is pretty cool. And this one right here is Kate Breslin's World War. This is her second book. She has a first one, not called, I just forgot what it's called. I'm sure it's written in here. But great books for World War I and World War II history mixed with a romance. See the little white feather? Some of you guys will know what that means long before you open it up. And that's not inclusive. There's a ton. There's a ton more of those, but these are newer authors that you might not have heard of before. That's what I'm kind of trying to go for. So the Amish Mennonite kind, not my cup of tea particularly, but they are huge. And here is two big authors that have a ton. You got your Beth Wiseman and your Tricia Goyer. I'll put them together. See the Amish stuff. So a lot of people will do those kind and love them. And if you search and if you like these authors, then you go on to Goodreads and so you say authors like Beth Wiseman, then they're going to feed you more of this genre that you like. So it's an easy way to find more of your favorite ones. Contemporary writers. Let's do this. So contemporary fiction is nowadays cell phones, modern day technology, internet, airplanes, all that, including divorce and cancer and all that crazy stuff. So, I'm wondering if my favorite book has even made it up here. Oh, yes, they did. It's in my hand. My favorite book of the last 2 years, right here, Catherine Ray. This is a letter style book, and it's very clever. If you like, this is contemporary, but it's Dear Mr. Knightley. So if you like all of that old school, if you like not Downton Abbey, if you like Pride and Prejudice and you know the Count of Monte Cristo and that kind of timeline, all the classics, she has a way. This is a contemporary book, but she makes the emotions of her character come alive through literary reference and movie and TV reference. So it's really cool. She's coming out with her 4th book, but they're all very unique. So this is my favorite one, but they're all very unique. Hi, Audra. I'm trying to do a book review, help people find books. And so I've already gotten a good chunk started. I'm trying to get people in here, but I only got a couple people, but I think it's because of the time of day. I'm not going to worry about it. So this is contemporary Christian fiction. Denise Hunter, she has several out. She is super sassy and fun. You would like her good writing style. Christian fiction. All of these books are Christian fiction. So that's the caveat at the beginning. And then I'm just trying to pick out different flavors on the inside. So I do have a few more of the Christian fiction ones that I want to show you, and I took pictures of them so I can introduce them because I've loaned my copies out. See, I have a revolving door. So let me see. I got to do Becky Wade is this one. Okay, here's one. Becky Wade, can you see that? She's contemporary. She's really sweet and romantic, but totally contemporary. So screenshot if you like. I'm trying to introduce new authors to you for the Christian fiction world, and I know all about it because that's what I do. Here's another Christian fiction contemporary. These are big name new authors that you might not have been exposed to yet. Melissa Tagg. I know, I loaned them out like crazy, and then I never even remember who I get. Oh, I'll hold it up again. I saw the camera go. Maybe you're on a delay. So I'll hold it for just a second longer. And like I said, it's a notes season, whatnot. So that's there is a ton more contemporary out there. Ton. I'm not huge on the contemporary because I get enough nowadays times real life drama in my own real life, so I tend to escape backwards. Yeah. Hi, Dawn. I'm so excited to have everybody in here. I'm trying to get this out to our Mommy Scopes and our Lovely group because this is their cup of tea for the summer. Super fun to see everybody. So their contemporary is the one I'm a little underexposed on. There's Dee Henderson for sure and a bunch like that you want to know. But I figure some of you guys could add in some contemporary authors to fill in my gap a little bit. I know that I don't have as many on hand, but the ones that I gave to you are big publishing house published inside the Christian fiction in the last couple of years. So hopefully there'll be new ones to you instead of like Karen Kingsbury and Dee Henderson, who are very well known, and you guys could probably have heard of them already. So these two are in the same. Oh, I actually have one more that I wanted to put on here, but I'm not going to find it. France is the other one. Okay, these are old-fashioned historical, but they are quite the read. They are more sophisticated style, a little deeper and a little more intense. So they're the old school historical, but they have a little bit more meat in them. So I'm holding those up, and I'm actually going to show you one more to go with this because, let's see if I remember. Okay, yes. So here is another one to go with this. Great historical romance, but they have something about the writing that is just more detailed and in-depth and I don't know, solid's not the right word because these are all good books, every single one, but there's something about them that has more, it's not as fluffy and just entertainment. I'm going to be fluff and I'm going to be entertainment. I'm going to give you a good escape and a good read, but this stuff has something intense in it. So these are more of an intense read. Okay, so let's talk science fiction fantasy for a second. Do I have any science fiction fantasy want to be Christian under the canopy of Christian fiction in here? Which I know there's some out there because I have listened to all the zombie apocalypse people. Hi, Brandy. Brandy, I'm talking books over here. Okay, so this is your zone. I'm going to have a lot of pictures because I only have a couple of the books and I loaned them out, of course. So here's the name, Ted Decker. Have you heard of him? He has a lot of fantasy like crazy, but he actually has a couple that step into the horror department. This is the only ones I know about horror. He actually has some that he has done with Frank Peretti. And so Frank Peretti, you know, good old Piercing the Darkness, This Present Darkness, Frank Peretti, he has some Christian fiction horror. And I have not, they make me run the other way. I'm a chicken liver for that. I'm a little bit of a lightweight. But his name is a very, very big deal in that. Never been able to finish a single book. Politicians, there you go. You guys are funny. Okay, so help me fill the room, guys, because this is one of those ones that's going to have content for a long time, and I'm going to get it saved and get it up. But I want to show you something else. Okay, so in the Christian fiction world, almost all of the books that are science fiction fantasy, almost all, there's exceptions, are published by this company, Enclave. Do you see that Enclave title up there? I took a picture of it. This is just a picture, and so there's only, there's only 3 books here, but when you get on this website and scroll down, there will be like 30 plus books on there. So this is where you want to go to for science fiction, fantasy, dystopian, futuristic, bizarre, story retelling, chaos. Those of you who like that kind of read, this is the place to find it under the canopy of being a Christian fiction, okay? I will show you 2 of mine that I know for sure are really, really good inside this genre. This is their top-selling book, Jill Williamson. This isn't the one. This is like the 3rd book in the series, but this series with Jill Williamson. Dystopian is your thing. See, I got stuff for you, even though it's not my thing. So this Jill Williamson for Christian fiction, she has the top-selling book, and I think it's the first one of this series, but you might have to do your homework on that. And then here's another one right here. Oops. Cast of Stones, Patrick Carr. This guy's winning awards right and left, and he has quite the concept inside of his books. He's published by Bethany House, so this is a big deal publication, and he has at least 4 books out now, and kind of an interesting concept. I read first 2, and then I got distracted with all the stuff that I prefer, because I like them. I don't mind reading them, but I'm definitely not, it's not my seasoning favorite, you know, and so obviously Cassie's, all of the things, every single one that I've talked about so far is Christian fiction, even the horror ones, which I think House is one of them under the horror ones, but so not my thing. So I have to give caveat. So if they're published in the Christian fiction, then they have a natural boundary that they can't cross, which we as writers have to learn and know. Hello, Joe. Joe, so many scopes. Yes, you're all over the place. Okay, so now I want to talk about thrillers and mysteries, and what's the other one that goes with that? Cozy mysteries, thrillers. I can't remember. There's another one that goes in that. Okay, so, and I have a couple extra ones. So, but this is the new one, cozy mystery. A cozy mystery is suspense. There you go. I don't have very many. I have a couple of them in here. So again, not inclusive. This is not a complete list. These are just if you haven't actually been exposed to Christian fiction artists who are doing these things. This is your zone. And there's a couple new on the mystery department. Mysteries is actually kind of new to Christian fiction. Not suspense. Suspense has been around for a long time, and thrillers are coming around, and mysteries are coming around. So this is one of the first. This is actually like a cozy mystery. So think Hercule Poirot, Murder, She Wrote. What's the name of there's a popular lady who writes a ton of, I'm not going to think of her now that I'm doing all these authors' names. But Deanna Jeering, one to watch. Hers, a lot of hers are set with one detective guy, and they're set in Miss Marple. There you go. That's another one. So if you like that contained cozy mystery, which I do, then this is your kind of book. The Cat Who series is another non-Christian series that is a cozy mystery. Okay, so Colleen Coble. Slightly new, not terribly new. She's been around a while now, but she has a ton of this kind of suspense thriller type style, and she's a great writer. And Terry Blackstock has been around for quite a while. You can even just tell by the cover, can't you, that that's the kind of the book they are. But I want to show you one more on my iPad because I loaned this one out as well. Actually, no, this one I have only on my my iPad. My Kindle. So Submerged, Danny Petrie. This is one of many of hers as well. Super good writer, super fun for this. And there's a million more of these. These are just names that if you haven't heard of them and this is your cup of tea, then have fun, have fun, have fun. New summer reading bucket list. That's what we're trying to help people find new authors, new exposure. Okay, so of course, those of you guys who've been on my show a lot, you've heard me talk about biblical fiction. So for the people inside the Mommy Scopes and Cultivating the Lovely who might not be watching me on a regular basis, inside the Christian fiction world, there's biblical fiction, which is basically your Bible come to life. And if you read these as a supplement to your Bible study, they almost count as nonfiction because you will fall in love with your Bible and you will fall in love with the cultures behind your Bible. So, and I have one more to add in here. So it's Misu Andrews, and she has a podcast. And if you want a Bible study style podcast that where you're going to learn and grow, awesomeness. Caitlin, hello. And then Connie Lynn Cossett, also biblical fiction, super intense writing style, very good. And I want to show you one more. I'm giving all kinds. I'm about halfway through, and I'm basically filling you guys with all kinds of possibilities. Let me see. This lady, Toscali, has quite the reputation in biblical fiction, and I think that she might have some suspensey type of the fantasy stuff too, but I'm not sure. Yes, there's a ton. I'm trying to be a resource so people can find the flavor that fits for them. So I'm almost done with, I've actually probably done about 30 different authors so far, maybe 40. And now I'm on to the flavor of, if you like Downton Abbey time period, if you like Regency, if you like North and South, if you like Pride and Prejudice and all of that, here is new author Rosanna White, and this is one that's going to go in my favorites. This author is going to go in my personal favorites. She's very, very good. And then we have Carrie Taransky. Carrie Taransky's actually, look at that Downton Abbey house. She's actually been there. That's a real picture that she took as an author and put it on there. Isn't that sweet? And Carrie Taransky is going to be my interview this next Tuesday, and I'm giving a book away. So if you guys get in on the interview next Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. my time, which is Oregon time, which is Mackenzie Monroe time, if you guys are cultivating the lovely people, then we'll give one of her books away. And then I want to show you another one. Hold up. We got to get it to show up. Julie Clausen. So Julie Clausen, if you like, what's the Count of Monte Cristo, if you like Kate and Leopold, Kate and Isabel, not the right name. Kate and Leopold, if you like the antique part of the movie Kate and Leopold, that is this genre, this style. Julie Clausen has several books out, although she's not a light and fluffy read like the first several books I did. She's always got a moral fiber, moral content, a big question in there that you're going to work on. It's not a drawback to the book, but like the first series of books that I get up is, yes, and now she has several, but the fun part about this one, the reason I picked this one on the cover is that she was a dancer all through. She competitively danced. I think she competitively danced. I know she did it for serious for a long time, And so the dancing in here is actually part of her story too. So I was kind of excited to read that. So there goes all of the more current names that you might not have heard because they've been coming out in the last 5 or 6 years in the Christian fiction genre. But I want to go back to some oldies because one of the things I realized on the Periscope is a lot of people they're stuck in like 20 years ago Christian fiction possibilities. You know, they're talking Lori Wick, they're talking Francine Rivers, they're talking Jeanette Oak, they're talking all of those. And those ones were pioneers, even though they were awesome and we still cherish them and we still like them. They were pioneers for all of these people that we're talking about. And so there's much, much more of them out there. And so if you are a reader, keep looking. So here's the oldies but goodies, but totally worth it. So we have Catherine Palmer. She is a very good writer. She does a lot of the genre that I want to compete with or be a contemporary of. I had to obviously do the ones, oops, I already fell out of my chair. You missed it, Audra. Right at the beginning of the scope, I totally fell out of my chair while periscoping. Entertaining, to say the least. You know, cat bites my ear, fall out of the chair. Hello, it's crazy. We got to get Francine Rivers. If you haven't read Francine Rivers' book, this book is iconic. Oh, yes, I'm totally fine. I never even stopped talking. That's how good I am. So this book is a series of 3 by Francine Rivers, and don't pick these up unless you pick up all 3. And if you like this, the 3rd book in this one will compete and win, in my opinion, against the movie The Gladiator. So I know, silly. This one's the book Hosea. This is an intense read, so it's not a light and fluffy read. The lady, when she wrote this is actually her crossover book. She came out of secular fiction, because she got saved, and she wrote this one. And okay, so everybody who's new is coming in. I'm going through the oldies but goodies. The first half of the scope has a bunch of new authors in it, so I'm just touching bases for people who might not know the old ones real fast. This was her crossover book from secular fiction to Christian fiction. So she actually took her secular book that was this one off the market, and she bought back her rights and pulled them off the shelves and did all she could to get her hands on it again, and then wrote this one. So, and the fun part is her editor, not her agent, her editor, when she wrote the Mark of the Lion series and that book, is who my agent is. So she has a different role and responsibility with me, but super fun for me. Okay, so Tracy Peterson, however you say it, tons of books. This is an old classic writer. She's been around for years. I bet you she has 40 or 50 books done. So very good writer. I always have to take her with a grain of salt because she does really good bad guys. So if you need a really believable bad guy, here's your author. Then we have Lorraine Snelling, who she's been around forever as well. Her historical fiction is amazing. She really nails the history, and I think that she has an insight into people that makes her books more clever. So super classic. Now these are the oldies but goodies on authors. Lynn Austin, she has a bajillion books out too. Very solid writer. She's still currently writing, still contracted. That says a lot. If your authors are big like this and they're still writing the books, it's a big deal. Here's another one, Tamara Alexander, oldie but goodie. She has quite a few books out. She writes quite a few that are, I think that I'm going to get this right. I think she's the one who has a lot of like redeemed prostitute type of stuff where she writes with taste and tact, but it's always that more intense topic line. But even if that's not her, that's what I remember about this writer, is that she can go down in and get into a serious vibe inside of a fiction story. So we got to go old school, really old school. Lori Wick, Princess, and Hawk and the Jewel. These are totally like way better, but way back in these are way back like in the mid 1900s or 1995. That's when these ones were coming out. So they're older in writing, but the storytelling is pretty darn good. The reason I wanted to bring these out is because if you have a 16-year-old reader and you want to get their feet wet into the adult genre, but you need them to be safe, so you're okay with them having a romance and a love story come up to them, but you want it to be censored like PG, this writer would be a safe writer for you. So they're going to be romantic and they're going to touch the romance, but they're not going to pollute your child. And most of these have that, but that one's more so. Good old Robin Lee Hatcher. Robin Lee Hatcher is hugely popular and well respected. She actually got like the Hall of Fame kind of award this 2 years ago when I went to the conference in 2014. True romance is much better. Wink, wink. You think so. And then, of course, Karen Kingsbury. So you guys know it. So if you go back to the beginning of the scope and have fun with that smorgasbord of new writers, new authors, I hope that I boosted some of your guys' summer bucket list options so that you can go kick back. And there you go, Joe. Wink, wink. Everybody give Joe a courtesy groan. There you go, Joe. So Christian fiction genre, every single one of those authors I mentioned, safe for family style values that we embrace inside both the Cultivating the Lovely and the Mommy Scopes. And if you have any questions, great. Oh, I did want to show you one more thing. If you are, there's a lot of people who do book reviews on Periscope, but if you are a person who is a big reader and you just want to jump on and talk about the book and not necessarily do a whole book study on it, then get in touch with me behind the scenes. Tweet me, find me on Instagram somewhere, because I'm looking for somebody, Cassie, like you, I'm looking for somebody who was really into the science fiction fantasy and who would read them and like cull it out. I'm really interested in having some of those authors, the science fiction fantasy authors, on my author interview show, and yet I'm not reading a ton of them because it's not my interest in where I'm going with my own book that I'm writing. So if you are totally into that, then grab those, the ones that you really think are top notch, and feed them to me so I can actually start to have a sense of knowledge inside of it. Yes, so yeah, of course they're your favorite. So now all the ones I've mentioned are inside the Christian canopy, Christian fiction, but so be it. That's what they are. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to shout out is I obviously do Writer's Encouragement Show. I'm on a book publishing journey. But a lot of you Mommy Scopers and Cultivating the Loveliers, you guys are homeschool moms. So if you have a kid who starts to show interest in being a writer, yeah. If they show interest between age 8 and 13, even if they kind of come away from it later than that, if they have a good handle on it and a good show interest, go ahead and show them a little bit of my resources. Look on my website. I have Kara's Picks. I have stuff for books to read, but also like grammar helps books or craft helps books, because literally these authors that I'm meeting and interviewing, probably 7 out of 10 of them have known they've had a draw to be a writer since they were kids, since they were young. And I just heard somebody talk the other day. They actually asked for a typewriter when they were in the 2nd grade. So do not poo-poo your kids' interests. It's okay if they decide to walk away from it and never do it. But if by chance that is the call that God puts on their life and the desire that he puts in their heart, then steward it. Be a good steward, just like you would music lessons or anything else. Yeah, my own daughter has stuff that she's had published, and you know, the idea of having her be published, they're my first readers, and they race through my books and read them in 24 hours and give me all kinds of feedback. Yeah, ones that are known. Yeah, that's awesome. So I'm throwing a shout out to you at-home moms, homeschoolers who are working with your own kids. Be watchful and cultivate it. It is an awesome, awesome opportunity for them in the future. And even if they aren't going to be the writer, maybe they're going to be an editor, maybe they're going to be a publicist, maybe they're going to be a reviewer, maybe they're going to work in the administration behind the scenes. And all of those people's careers start with an interest in the reading and the writing first. And then one last thing. Yeah, one last thing. Thank you for considering it encouragement, because it's so my cup of tea. If you are interested, look at this. This is a picture. So, oops. This is an event. It's called, what are they calling it? Christian Fiction Readers Retreat. So if you are a huge reader and you happen to be in the Nashville area, they're actually doing a conference, and I think they've got some 35 authors gathered. They're going to do book signings, they're going to do giveaways, they're going to have a special speaker, and it's a one-day event, and it's really close to Nashville, Tennessee. So if that's something that you can look up and be a part of, great. Is that Read Aloud Revival? Retreat, it's a retreat. I'm not sure where you're seeing revival. It's a retreat. So I was trying to hold it where the glare and the reflection didn't kill it. But So maybe I'll hold it a little closer so you can look up. So I'm figuring you guys can find it online yourselves and dig it up. But that is a conglomeration of your favorite readers and writers all together. And they're going to take care of you for the day and give you all kinds of fun stuff. So that is for the really intense, over-the-top one who's really, really serious about reading. I'll be there. It's right before my writers conference, so I get to double up and do both. So there you go, people. And I do want to thank the gal who started the thread, who I already shouted out to on Periscope, because you can obviously see this is a really fast overview and I really like it. But I think what I'll do in the future is bring on 2 or 3 at a time. I think I could probably do the same thing for young writing, the preteen teenage writer zone, to help you pick safe reads, which is a little bit easier because the genre guidelines to write a young adult or even before young adult age, they have so much rules in place of what you can have for content that it's easier to find safe books for your kids. But for interesting and to try to stay ahead of your readers, sometimes can be tricky if you're not a big reader yourself. And I think I could do the same thing for nonfiction. You read awful books as a teen. Yeah, see, and you're probably way more of a reader than your parents, I'm assuming. That's very, very common. So maybe I'll get on and do some teen safe readers. I have a lot, one of my kids is very science fiction fantasy, so I'm trying to help her cultivate a balance between her writing habit or her reading habit and her devotion life, because I do want to let her read what she's interested in, and there isn't a lot of options inside the Christian zone. So we're working on that and always watching and guarding. And again, that's where you can't relax and rest inside the reading, when you're watching on purpose for the content. So inside, for me, the canopy of Christian fiction makes it so that I can relax my moral filter a tad and simply enjoy the read, enjoy the book. So that is my safety net. Now, I do read secular stuff, but like I said, I keep the filter up and keep it strong, because you don't want to lose your family identity just because you're willing to read trash. You know, you're willing to say yes to something that you would never do in real life or experience in real life. So, and I do think I could also do one of these for craft books and stuff for people who are interested in writing books for the future. So there's a few areas I think I could really niche, but obviously got the books to support it. I could probably do this exact scope 3 or 4 more times with different books and never cross authors. That's how exciting it is. So by far not inclusive. Hopefully you can find some treasures. And if you got on here and you're on my replay and you grabbed an author, let me know somewhere, because I would just like to know that I helped you for your summer bucket list, because that would be really cool. Thank you for coming on, guys. I appreciate it. See you later. Cassie, thank you for staying with me that whole time and figuring out the whole flavor. And I will put this up on the Mommy Scopes group where I get to. And thank you. Thank you for letting me play and dream and think books for hours. See you later. Bye.